4, 3, 2, 1.
They say humans are social animals. They can't live alone. But you can live pretty well by yourself. I tell you, instead of feeling alone in a group, it's better to have real solitude all by yourself.
Well. Welcome back, guys. We are here today for another healing.
Yeah, baby.
Ready to heal up, James. Introduce the man to my left here,
Yes,
my voice
sir.
of reason. James Webb is here. We are bringing another session to the masses. You know what I mean? We're gonna spread this good word. I'm Dwayne Murphy Jr. I'll be here having a very nice conversation with my third guest now. I'm very happy to have you here. I like to let my guests introduce themselves and, get stuff off their chest. You know what I mean? We're all here to heal together. So please, tell us about yourself.
Hello, everyone. Hi, thank you for having me, friends.
Thank you for being here.
Hey, James.
Hey.
Thanks for holding our space in the studio and setting us up.
Of course.
My name is Melissa DuPrey of the Humble Park Dupreys. She, hers queen on occasion.
There you go.
Most occasions. I am an actor, comic, organizer, playwright, content creator, Reiki master, and lover of all good people.
Look at that. See, I couldn't even see. This is why I don't. This is why I don't introduce. Why I can't. I couldn't do that so eloquently. Yeah, we are. But yes, we are glad to be here, Melissa. Like I said, I know you've been asking me, what exactly we do here. What's this podcast about? Really,
What you do?
what I like to do when I bring my guests on is I talk a lot. You can tell. But when I bring people on, I want to listen to them. I want to listen to what they have to say. I want to see where their heads are at, especially people I don't know. Especially in light of whatever thing's going on. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody, oh, you want a coaster? See, look at this, James. Look at this right here. This family right here. She was like, I need a coaster. I can't
Thank you.
disrespect my man's table. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Once I lay that out for everybody, I'll leave it up to you. How are you feeling today?
Well, thank you. It's so beautiful. First of all, this chill music is everything. It's just getting right into the spirit of like centering and grounding, which we desperately need in this time.
Yeah.
Quarantine. Let's just be real and call it where we're at right now.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a pandemic, and I say middle because like we're about to get bookended with yet another closure that's impending. I'm absolutely sure. So, I am emotionally and physically and professionally preparing for another entrapment.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm cocooning and incubating beautifully in doing that process. And today was just one of those development days where like, oh, I need things in my home in order for me to do what I do.
Yeah.
And part of that, James was so helpful in like consulting my home and saying, oh, you need this and you need this piece of equipment. And that was really helpful.
Yeah.
Why? Because as a content creator and producer of my own work, whether it's stand-up comedy or solo work, I have to make sure that it's also coming with quality.
Yeah.
This is also a self-taught process.
Yeah.
Nobody's out here teaching producing.
No, they do not.
They're teaching the art.
Yeah.
They're not teaching the execution. They're teaching you how to be dependent on people like us.
Yeah.
Which is great for us, but it doesn't really create the true diversity and inclusion that everybody's seeking to get at.
Yeah.
When you really have equity and when you really have diversity, you have Black and brown people being able to own and guide their own narratives. How do we do that? We create our own. We create our own content. Make your own work. This is how Issa Rae got where she's at. This is how, we love Childish Gambino.
He did all that by himself.
AKA Donald Glover.
What's her name? Shy? The Shy? She directs The Shy?
Lena Waithe.
Yes.
So, exactly. So, it's one thing to have vision, but then you become reliant and dependent on the white guy in the booth that has all of the power and the tools and the money and the capability to make your vision come to life.
Yes.
While that is beautiful to collaborate and work on, there's something to be said about having your work be created from the seed to the actual tangible thing and still have all of your ache and your blessings. Like it is Black led, it is POC led, it is POC created, and that's empowering.
Yeah.
And in this quarantine, what I have discovered, I created a made for social media TV show, reality show called 50 Blind Dates.
Are you going on 50?
I'm going on 50 random Zoom dates in my living room that my friends set up for me. At 6:00 every night. I open up my computer, and whoever's on the other end of my Zoom, I go out. It's a Zoom date.
Okay,
it is a
fun.
blind Zoom date.
Yes.
And all of this is to see who might be the person I find a date for the first post quarantine, like in restaurant, not social distance, when everything is okay.
Yeah, that's like next level Love is Blind shit, bro. Like
it's Love is Blind meets The Bachelorette meets Girlfriends. Because my girlfriend set this up, so it's in network. It's cool. With people in Chicago, but I was so like it was to combat the social isolation, and so I was one driven to make a show, but two also driven to calm my spirit. That I think a lot of people were dealing with the same thing. They were getting in depression. They were feeling stir crazy. They were absolutely feeling like they were disconnected from their communities and their friends. I was like, oh, you actually do need people, don't you?
You do, man. We really
we do need each other, right? You're not missing the bar. You're missing the people who filled the bar. You're missing the camaraderie. You're missing the network. So this was a way for me to like, we're in the space together physically. Yeah. We would not have been able to do that out in the real world, I think, without having these connections. So this Zoom dating thing was a way to actually be in conversation with somebody deeply and engage for 45 minutes, because that's all you have on the basic plan. Right. I don't have a timer. I just tell them that.
Oh, bro, don't mind. Nobody listen to that timer, bro. They be like, you got 10 minutes left. I'll be like,
I got 5 minutes left. Well, that was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you know, it was to combat, you know, two of the same things. It was like, we're both lonely, and we also might not ever really cross each other. So like in the cyber world, how do we engage? And we're not texting, we're not doing the same Tinder conversations, like what's your favorite color, what movie did you watch? Your reaction right there just tells me, you know, that you're starting the same conversation, and it's fucking exhausting.
It is. And I like, you know, and I can speak as a man. I try to like you know, you never really know what to say, like to start a conversation. So yeah, every time you go like, hey, how are you? You know, where are you from? Like all that. It's like
what
over and over. Like every job application starts with that same little fill out. Like this little.
It's a template, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a template. But what I was telling James earlier today is like, I like to ask questions like, what skills do you bring to the zombie apocalypse?
Okay.
Because it stemmed from, what are you watching on Netflix? What are you binging? And I'm always binging zombie shows.
Right.
So
I've been binging the big flower fight so I can work the land if we ever get somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
I need that. Hey, you don't understand how much I need that.
Tell me, man, I could lay some evergreens down, bro. You need it. You got mulch and everything, bro. It's gonna be nice.
Look, I could cook whatever we harvest. Like,
see?
I'm done.
Team.
Right? This is truly the utopia that we dream about.
Yeah, it's I've been calling it the COVID come up. You know what I mean? Like I know like it's like you said, when the thing started, it was very it was very tough for me, and like trying to get myself, you know, where I was mentally, and like I said, a lot of people taking their lives through that. It's been that's going up because of what's going on here. And
what has been the most challenging part of it for you?
For me, well, I mean, it was the isolation for sure, the uncertainty of like what is gonna happen next, where am I going, losing friends. I actually lost a really close friend during COVID, so it was
I'm so sorry.
No, and so I appreciate it. But it was like, yeah, you know, there was things like that. Like I guess I think I really was feeling like life was like realer than it ever had been. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a lot of ideas about what my future was gonna be like, things I wanted to do, and everything, and then shit got real. So it was like
real quick.
It was like make the decision. Like you
strip it down. What you need. Take only what you need to survive.
Yes,
and how are you surviving?
Play some Last of Us. That helped me out.
Right.
Bro. That is. I'm telling you, I played that both times, twice, because I'm like, first of all, I know how to fix a gun now. They literally show you how to make a gun. It's crazy. Yeah. So that was my that's been the most difficult thing for me, was I guess transitioning from this naivete of like it'll be fine. Things will just start to happen. To being like, I need to make some real decisions. You know what I'm saying?
I bought life insurance during COVID. I bought whole life
insurance, people. What y'all know about that?
I did the most adult thing. I was like, my legacy that I built is going to go to somebody. What is it? Plants.
Yeah.
And debt.
Yeah, I think that was a very important thing, was like clearing my debt throughout this process was priority number one for me.
Were you still working?
No. So, I actually, my place of work closed down for good. Actually, as of yesterday, they will be no longer in business at all, because it was a restaurant. I worked at a restaurant downtown. So, and we definitely could not have operated even at 50%. I don't even know if we could have operated like that. So again, it was another thing where I was just like,
HOB's right around the corner.
Yeah, bro, it's happening, dude. And I know, so I've been fortunate to have unemployment and everything, and I'm very blessed for that. But I have this discussion with people a lot where when they ask me about like being unemployed or what have you been doing, are you just sitting around and everything? And for one, yeah, because we ain't supposed to be going outside, but I'm also like trying to use the resources I've been given to position myself into a more stable place. So,
Same. That's why I was fucking dropping Benjamins over at Micro Center.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, government.
Yeah, it's
my artistry is going to survive. And as long as there are things happening in the world, we're going to be able to respond to them as artists.
Yeah.
And I believe comedians, especially comics and poets, artists, they're the first responders in the archives of what we're going through from an emotional standpoint.
Yeah.
Most of the documentation that's happening right now, we have plenty of news, plenty of media, plenty of articles going around.
Yeah.
But who's documenting the current condition, the emotional and socio-political condition of the United States of America? And it's artists.
Yeah.
Mind you, Newsweek released a graph that took a poll from across the nation saying 70% of Americans deem artists as non-essential workers.
Yeah. People don't think, and then
I'm like, oh, so you're watching The Wall?
Yeah.
You're listening to Bugs?
Could you imagine if it was straight CNN just all the time, and just all the time, just sports CNN? Could you really survive?
Cut
on
off
that?
your Amazon account.
Yeah.
Cut off your Netflix.
Exactly. All that.
Cut off your Netflix.
No, how you think we got any of that shit? Sorry, I don't mean to yell. I get.
No.
Yes. You saw my neck. You saw.
I know.
Neck.
But that's triggering. Yeah. But that's exactly how I felt when I saw that. I was like, I'm not essential.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt like, it's funny because I felt that was something I struggled with when everything closed, being a bartender, and then obviously, like I say, working in comedy and being an artist and stuff. You spend a lot of your time in restaurant industry, that type of stuff. And to lose all of that in like one day, I had that feeling, I would say, at first of like, damn, like who am I? Who am I? You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to express this to a friend, and I was like, dude, I don't think you understand. Like everything I do is done now. You know what I mean? Like just like done. I can't go. I can't do anything. That's how I felt. And I felt like with having that feeling, I guess that feeling of rock bottom, and then I was just sitting there. It was just like, no, I can do something. You know what I mean? Like I think like that's what more people.
That's
like,
a liberation.
Yeah.
That's a liberation right there. I conversely, I was not affected.
Right. Really.
I was not affected. I mean, I was on the last season of Empire.
Yeah. That was.
I had a reoccurring role in the last season of Empire. Okay. Unfortunately, we did not get to shoot the final episode of the very last, like that wrapping up everything.
To lose like to that. That's what I'm saying. Like you doing like something for real. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then they just like, hey. Done. We're like, get out of here. Goodbye.
They closed before it was even like impended to like close. They shut down. It was like, this is dangerous. And then I was like, oh no, now we have to shut down. Our industry shut down. The reason I wasn't affected is because my lack of representation forced me to always have to create my own shit. Yeah. And so me being at home, I was like, I'm not doing anything different.
That's good.
I am still having to create my own shit because I cannot be dependent on an industry that never had room for me in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That never made a seat for me. I'm over here building my own table.
Yeah.
I'm not selling it. I'm not, but I am profiting on my own ability to create and then produce it.
Yeah.
So, it was interesting because people were asking me, this was like, so what your industry? I was like, my industry never loved me to begin with. It never loved me. It never loved me. I loved myself. It was empire that I was like, oh shit. But that was a job.
Yeah.
And that job allowed me to have a higher unemployment rate back in return. So I was like grateful that I got that in order to set me up to sustain. But so many people, other artists, they were like, I'm done.
Yeah.
We've got nothing. And I was like, I've been telling you.
Yeah.
For several years.
No, I mean.
Not to be contingent on that slave play. That you. I was like, you don't have to keep doing that slave play.
Yo, I don't know if you are familiar. I used to bartend at the Black Ensemble Theater uptown. And so I was bartending there, and they were doing a slave play like as the COVID was happening. So I was just, when you said that, it just triggered that thought. Like, maybe she knew some of those people, man. Like, honestly. I was just, look, when I work the bar, I'm like, hey, I'm back here.
Were you at the bar? Were you working the bar at the time they WakandaCon did the comedy show?
No.
At the space?
No.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was a great night, and that was all of our friends and OGs. And I'm sure you know.
I had this desire to one day, fill that space with something, but I just I had only just, the reason why I didn't do it because I'd only just started working there maybe end of February. You know what I mean? Okay. I had like literally just started working.
This was last year.
Yeah, last year. Okay, this is like, okay, so yeah, I was just seeing that space. That space is like, it's like 10 minutes from my house too. And like, and it's crazy. I didn't even know it was there. I found it just walking down the street. And I was like, y'all need a bartender here? Like, hell yeah, I'll work here, man. All, like you said, all black owned.
Jackie Taylor.
Man, they call her Madam Jackie Taylor. I was like, what in the world?
Well, she's an icon.
Yeah.
And I worked for the theater where she got her start. Free Street Theater was a social justice theater that started in 1969.
Nice.
Jackie Taylor was one of the original ensemble members.
Yeah.
Back when the theater company was just about making sure that they were spreading peace, love, and justice in the streets. They would pull up in a wagon, and the wagon doors would collapse and it would turn into a stage.
Nice.
So that way people who were in Inglewood and in Humboldt Park and places around Madison, they would be able to see live theater. But it wasn't theater, it was song, dance, it was like everything hippie that you would think in those stages were. Jackie Taylor was part of the ensemble. Free Street Theater was the first place in Chicago, the first theater in Chicago where Black actors can get their equity card and become professional actors.
That's amazing.
Jackie Taylor and folks like her went on to become reputable equity actors.
Yeah.
And then she went off and created Black Ensemble Theater.
Yeah, that's
from
right.
that.
And you could tell. I mean, just knowing those limited time that I saw her, you could see the presence. People call it a presence, or like the energy of like somebody who is, seen a lot. You know what I mean? And all people ever, when I would bring her up to people, all they would talk about was the movie she was in. And I was like,
she's an icon.
Yeah.
She's a theater maker, but again, she is going to be the person that's going to create space. I mean, in 5 or 6, probably 10 years from now, Black Ensemble Theater will be a compound.
Yeah.
It is going to represent the kind of world that we want to see, where like we have sustainable income and the economy is thriving, and that it creates more platform for Black and brown actors to be able to create new work, new plays. That's going to be a breeding ground for new playwrights.
Yeah, I was like, I would love to see the work they do.
It's exciting times. It's really exciting times. And so like I'm going to be a little bit like reluctant to see some of the new work that's all going to be COVID related in 10 years time. I feel like everybody's going to have a quarantine play. We are making plays for Zoom right now, which is like,
like Raising in the Sun, COVID-19. Walter, don't you go get sick, Walter.
Fences make good neighbors. Right? 6 feet apart.
What have you done for me? I got sick with you. She gonna be snotting like it.
Yeah, it's Viola Davis.
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis is the new Viola Davis. Shout out to City Charles.
Yeah.
The new Viola Davis.
Awesome.
So like it's exciting times for artists, but again, like I've been preaching the whole you shouldn't be dependent on anybody to continue your craft.
Yeah.
And look, people are now starting to figure out how to create, and so it's exciting. But now I'm like, I got 10 years on you.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
don't you come upon me. Don't you dare. I've been in this shit all my life. I've had to fight.
Molded by it.
This darkness.
Yeah, but more people, I think it's important for people to hear someone with that that mindset, hear someone with that point of view, that perspective, you know what I mean? Because I could, because like I said, you can only, so many others like myself who, you're absolutely right, just kind of walk through hoping for, I'll say, hoping for something to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I knew I was doing a lot of things. I knew I was, performing a lot, working on a lot of different content and stuff. But I was always saying, it was something I even said to James right before I made this show. I was like, I'm tired of just doing comedy for comedy's sake. Like, I'm tired of just doing shit.
I mean, even at a certain trajectory, right? Let's talk about it, right? Let's be real. For comedians of color, for Black comics, our roads are never really the same because we have to make sure that we are working a Black room as easily as we were working the North Side.
Yeah.
That takes us to a certain place, right? Now we have accessibility, and now we have like sharpened up our content. Our sets are solid. Now we have to look different from execs who might want to invest in our work. Exactly. How am I as a Black person sounding different from the next one? Exactly. I don't need to do Bom Kui Kui. Somebody not Black stole it already.
Actually, I had a guy tell me, he says, I've seen 1,000 Dwayne Murphys. You're nothing special, man. So you need to figure something out. Like literally, like he said that to me. He was my manager. He said that to me.
Also, he worked for me.
He was my manager. Yes.
Exactly. And so that's real for us. Yeah. We have to figure out how do we not invisibilize ourselves because we are invisible.
Yeah, it's upsetting that because he said I've seen 1,000 Dwayne Murphys and stuff, and my first thought is, why is that a problem? You know what I'm saying? Why do you only see that? That rule?
Because there's a million Dane Cooks.
Exactly. You know how many?
There's a million Dane Cooks.
Yeah. Dude,
I can't tell y'all fucking apart. That's Dwayne. Like
that's Dane Cook, right? Okay, so we try. Yeah, because James gonna lift his computer up. He does get it. This is the one of the few shows I really do be attacking James sometimes when I'm getting this stuff. I don't mean to do it either. We've just been together all day long. Yeah, exactly.
But it's real though. It's real because that is the thing that their diversity wants to be singular and myopic.
Yeah.
They want one version of that. They want one Sofia Vergara. They want one
one Eddie Murphy, one
Eddie Murphy.
SNL talks about all the time, right?
They even wanted one Dave Chappelle, but they couldn't even handle the one Dave Chappelle they got.
Exactly.
And there could have been 10 versions of Dave Chappelle. You know why? Because that is the vastness and the multitude of our diaspora and our duality. Like we are so dimensional.
Yeah.
So dimensional. Because we had to code switch.
Yeah.
Just on the fact that I am one one way in the office than I am at home.
Yeah.
Than I am with my grandmother, than I am with my girlfriends.
Yeah.
Like
that's a mindset that's carried on from, I could say that's carried on even from back when we were, we basically freed ourselves in a sense, from slavery, where we were looked at as tools, property, things that didn't have that, that, like you said, that duality, that eccentricity in a sense, right? And we've actually had it the whole time, doing way more stuff with them thinking we weren't educated than they thought. And now, you wonder why, I always tell people, you wonder why Black people drive culture, why we drive that. It's because that's all we had at one point. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate.
And we know it sells.
Yeah, exactly.
We know it sells. How do you feel about, SNL doing auditions again and looking for it? Do people often tell you should be on SNL? Be like, let me tell you how much I don't.
Oh no, man! And you know what? Yeah, it was. How old was I when I decided I didn't want to be on SNL? I think I was maybe 21, 22. I was coming out of college, coming out of doing improv and stuff like that. And I remember Jay Farrell talking about how they literally wanted one Black dude. You know what I mean? Just one. That was it. You know what I mean? And that's how and then I hadn't even paid attention to that growing up, watching SNL, loving, obviously loving Eddie Murphy on it, and then like kind of stuff. Then In Living Color was by far
the
best
ahead of its
sketch
time.
show. Yeah, by far.
Ahead of its time.
So still, those sketches, you do them sketches right now, and people
Right.
would think you wrote them for 2020. They're
Yeah.
amazing. Men on Film, like fuck, I love it.
Oh yeah.
Z
Around the
Formation.
world and
I was thinking like, dang, why would I work so hard to be a part of, a show that has basically straight up told people that on it, we only need one, you know what I'm saying? Like because when we broadcast this, like you said, to the world, to the masses, to the silent majority, they're not silent at all, actually. They loud as hell. We broadcast it to them. We don't want to overwhelm them with blackness. And I love that sketch when Kevin Hart hosted not too long ago, and he a couple years ago, he had like 9, like the most black characters on stage at once and everything. Yeah. And everybody tried to make that like a big, like, oh my God, can you believe it? That's not at least 10 black people on stage for once. I'm like, why are we making that? Like, why is that
history?
Yeah.
Why is that history?
It shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, the best people for the job should be the ones who get it. But that's not the case. You know what I mean? It's not the case for us. It's not the case. Especially for us, it's not the case.
I mean, I feel that's the same way in the Latinx diaspora as well. NBC was looking for a new version of the Living Color. They've been doing this for like a decade, trying to find the new sketch show, POC led.
And they ruined it.
Oh,
to be honest,
so
people don't know they ruined it.
They did. But I went in to my audition in LA, and executives come out. I'm looking in the room, a whole bunch of Latinas, and they all look different.
Yeah.
This exec comes into the room right away, says, all right, friends, we're looking for the next Sofia Vergara. And I went in there with my material. And one of my sketches, one of my original contents was 2 ICE immigration officers deporting people. Yeah. And they're both Latino. Okay. This is like 2 Mexican deportation officers.
Deporting
undocumented celebrities.
Okay.
And so by the third one down is Sofia Vergara.
There you go. There you go.
And I'm in the room and I'm killing my material and crickets because they just didn't understand how damaging Sofia Vergara is to the diaspora and the representation of media.
Yeah.
And she herself is a damage to herself. Like,
it's like,
and they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna get it, and of course, like, didn't get called back. But genius. It was a great. I was laughing myself.
I mean, I was like, that's such a simple idea. Like, what? That's a great idea, bro. Like, what? 2 Mexican ICE officers.
Man, these illegals gotta go. Ain't that right, Dominguez? You're absolutely right, Perez. And they're Texan. They're Texan.
Oh my God. Oh, so they not the twang too?
Yeah, it's like, ain't that right, Benitez? Hell yeah, Perez. Dude, get all these Mexicans.
Come on, Hollywood. We got so much shit for you. But that's not what they want, man. That's not
what they want. They don't even know what they don't know what they want. So it is our job to paint the narrative. It is our job to own it. That's why Erica from Girlfriends, who has a Color Farm Studios.
Oh, is that you talking about Tracy Ellis? No, not Tracy Ellis Ross. Erica, maybe I don't know.
She played on Girlfriends, the attorney.
Ooh.
T.C. Carson's love interest.
Oh,
Maxine.
Thank you. Shaw. No, wait. What? Thought was a Living Single. I thought Maxine was Living Single. Yeah,
sorry. What did I say?
Yeah, you said Girlfriends.
Sorry.
Erica Alexander.
Erica Alexander. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Living
Thank you
Single.
Much.
It came out before Friends. All right. They took it. All right. Used the Family Matters set for the first episode, but
Yep, we know that one.
Yeah.
So like this is why it's important for us to be even thinking broader scope. Like, how do we have production companies? Like, I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry.
Right.
I'm not a fan of the aesthetic. I am absolutely here for him buying his own production studios.
Yes, like
a whole village, a whole compound, a small city.
300 acres, I think. Is it? It's like, it's big.
It's that was historic. That to me is taking some autonomy in equity.
Yeah.
And creating a sustainable economy around film.
Yeah.
Are they great films? Hell no.
What's up, man? Hey, you see The Fall from Grace?
I need him to get a better wig budget.
No, just
I need him to get a wig budget.
You gotta
And
get past the wig. It's so I'm telling you.
not Medea, just the regular actors. I just need them and stop writing your own goddamn fucking films. Like hire some writers. Hire some writers.
I was so angry with him being like, why do I don't take any opinions? I don't work ethic. First of all, nigga, we didn't even ask you about your work ethic, bro. Like, what are you
we already
about?
Knew how you started. We knew how you got here. Now I want to know how you diversifying. Every artist has to evolve.
Because we was with you when I Can Do Bad by Myself. We was with you with the family reunion, the class reunion. We was with you.
We know the seeds you had to sow. We was with you with
the big happy family going to jail. You know what I mean? We put up with all that movies. We put up with them.
We met the Browns.
Yeah, we met them.
We met the Browns. We fell in love with the Browns. Handstand, plaid wearing motherfucker.
Hey, I was in House of Pain.
House of Pain. We're here for it. We understand what you did to get here. Now, can you stop writing your own checks? Like, to yourself.
I mean, help a brother out. You know what I'm saying?
Create those jobs, man. Yeah. So, like, again, like, the struggle is real. People think that, now is a great time for Black and POCs. I'm telling you, the pool is still the kiddie pool at the dollar store.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
That's how shallow the pool is.
Yeah.
But it's ours.
That's our pool. Yeah.
It's our pool.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you invited 60,000 people to the barbecue. That's the pool we're pulling from.
Yeah.
So the problem is not fixed, but you still have to, I strongly believe we still have to keep being in conversation and community with each other to help uplift each other.
Yeah.
If you are a DP, director of photography, and I'm a writer, like, why are we not working together?
Right. To
create something, why are we not bartering and creating that communal life? This is what we talk about at Freedom Square, at Let Us Breathe Collective. We talk about abundance. We talk about the Black community already has everything we need for our own liberation.
Yeah.
We outnumber the police.
Mm-hmm.
We outdate some of the systems in place that made America what it is.
Yes, we do.
We built these homes, these houses. There is no reason why we are disenfranchised at the rate that we are. There's no reason why we are imprisoned at the rate that we are. So when we think about how marginalized we are as a community, if we actually turn that narrative to say, like, we are abundant and magic and this country could not exist without us, then we leverage our power in different ways.
Yeah. And that's what people, and that's where you see that fight back, with us, especially, now, because it's like, everybody woke now, so
welcome to the Nebuchadnezzar.
I was talking. I think it was James I was talking to. Actually, I was talking to him, like, when we sat down, and we were talking about something that he was really affected by. You know what I mean? And that was the first moment where I could be like, bro, I do that. That's literally what I live with. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm not. We not gaslighting James because he the white dude, all right? But what I'm saying is, like, there's so many more people who are, like, all of a sudden they feel like they need to take up this, like, oh man, everything sucks, man. This sucks. And it's like, I'm like, do you really understand, like, how bad it is? Like, did you understand where it came from at all? Or are you just saying it now because,
we found out that James has a moon in Pisces, which allows him for deep, deep, incredible compassion and empathy to actually feel the plight and pain and put himself in those shoes. So, like, I'm grateful for those kinds of people that can actually be aware and not with kind of like placating someone or even dismissing it and saying, oh, that sucks, and then going home at night. Like, people are actually doing shit about it.
Yeah.
People are leveraging their platforms and their privilege and their power and saying, we need to dismantle this, right? And so that's why you're seeing CEOs right now step down. Mm-hmm. You're seeing CEOs who, like, built their company and be like, I do not need to be another cis white man in power.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Dope.
Who does it? Have you seen?
Yeah, he was
my roommate watches this app all the time. They do all the they all the cooking stuff on it. And WeWorks, I think it's WeWorks.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he stepped down for that reason. Exactly what you said. He put out that thing saying that, like, I have not done nearly enough to open this up to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a great thing.
Right. And so this is also why we've seen a lot of theater companies just kind of, like, collapse and implode because they are pipelining other white people who are not even from Chicago. I don't even know if if you've seen shit like this, but in our theater community, we are definitely calling out theaters that are not taking measures to create access and pipelining young people of color into those positions, because if they were really about diversity, equity, and inclusion, they wouldn't be hiring the white guy from New York to be in Chicago.
City.
Yeah.
Second City.
Yeah.
Victory Gardens. The Goodman Theater. All of these places that have wealth and privilege are still perpetuating white supremacy and oppressive systems of oppression. Right?
And just like you said, they're collapsing because there's no foundation. Who's the foundation?
The foundation is systemic oppression. The foundation is built off of white supremacy because they founded these houses, but they're basically getting funding off of missions that say diversity, equity, inclusion. So like even at Second City, Upstage was created for that, right? It was, it was created for that. But then
so if you want to speak more on that, please, because I have no knowledge of Second City. I mean, I know what it is, but I had no knowledge of their workings. I found out when everybody else found out. But I always knew I didn't want to go there, but I didn't know why.
They made a whole diversity wing, basically. Okay. But then there's a residency. This is the Bob Curry Fellowship. Bob Curry Fellowship brings in 12 POC sketch and improv and stand-up comedians. Right. Even just having 12 a year to be in the diverse section of Second City.
Just like, I don't, that's colors. You know what I'm saying? That's like,
right.
Yes, you know what I mean?
Still
the color fountain.
You're still creating a version of scarcity that does not, I mean, like they pay for it. It's not a fellowship. It's not like a scholarship. You pay for it. You pay to be there. Like, what's the fucking difference than me doing classes? Yeah. Right? And so like, that to me is not true diversity. But I do believe that the people that are stewarding these programs are saying this is what we're doing. We're pipelining, but like you're pipelining to go to SNL. Yeah. You're pipelining to go to Upright. Yeah. These are all places that are still struggling to make sure that they're centering Black and brown voices. You're setting them up and teaching them the methodologies that will make them passing and suitable and safe in the room. The people who make and live in color were the ones that went off and said, fuck you, Second City.
Yeah, Damon Wayans got fired from SNL for that reason. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
This is what I just want to make sure that we are acknowledging how history has moved and how it's proven work by the patterns.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. You don't learn history, you're doomed to repeat it. People think that's a cliche. I love saying cliche lines like that because sometimes they're really true. You know what I mean? Don't say that. Attitude reflects leadership. Like that's my favorite quote from any movie ever. Right. Just because like that's a real thing. You know what I mean? The leadership is setting up the attitude of, you know what I mean? This is what people want to look at. This is what people want to see. So, you know what I mean? This is what you got to do to fit that. And it's like, then you walk away with this identity crisis. Like, okay, so I have changed so much stuff about myself. You know what I'm saying? In pursuit of this dream that originally brought out the best part of me. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, now I gotta push that down to succeed in it. You know what I mean? Like where's the you're spinning your tires? You know what I mean? I'm from Brooklyn, so I did UCB. I did Upright Citizens Brigade, the whole thing. Exact same way, dude. And you get into there like, you know, you spend your money for your I guess your gen eds, whatever they call them, right? And then if they like, okay, we like you, we want you to come up and like take the more advanced classes, they're more expensive. Yeah. Like, this is fucking Scientology, bro. Like I'm trying to you know what I'm saying? Like that's not what I got into this for, bro.
If you like me, give that access. This is the same thing. You should never, you know, people who are starting off in acting, just so you know, you should never pay to take classes just to get an audition. If there's somebody that you're trying to get a talent scout with or a manager, they're not going to force you to take classes or buy their program.
Thank you.
Do not pay to play. Yeah. These are frauds. These are scams. I don't care how legitimate they claim to be.
They're not. They're
someone who wants you will never charge you to be better. My agent, if ever there's a development, if it's in-house, it's for free. It's because they want to make money. They want to succeed.
Yeah. That's good.
They're investing in their investment.
Yeah.
But these like, okay, take more classes, take more of these, you know, we like you. Then fucking invest in me.
Invest in me. Yeah.
Invest in me. Where is the scholarship? Also, our art, we don't even get much of this back. It is the one thing that you put in so much money and we don't even get that return. Yeah. Why? Because people pay us in fucking drink tickets. We're not getting a cut at the door.
No, but you can get like whatever you want on the menu, though. You know what I'm saying? Like
exposure. exposure.
Oh my God, dude!
You could get paid in exposure.
Every club that'll look at you and be like, every club that looks, especially comics, you should hear this. Every club that looks at you and says you should be grateful for even getting on this stage, they never deserve to have you there to begin with. Like you're literally spitting in the face of what comedy is. You know what I'm saying? Because you're using me, you're using my dream, my desire to get somewhere and succeed with this, so you can sell some fucking drinks on a Wednesday night. It's bullshit, bro.
Watered down in Old Town.
You still got to buy 2 of them. Yeah, Gotham Comedy Club calling you out. All right, yeah, exactly. That's this guy Andy Angle I've been beefing with for like.
I'm trying to get booked back at Zany, so I'm just gonna stick away.
Hey man, you know what? I don't even. I didn't say Zany's.
I know I didn't either. I didn't either.
I'm calling out New York comedy clubs. All right, who knows? Look, like you said, if they want me, they gonna call me.
But see,
right?
but then now let's take it a step further.
Okay.
Let's take it a step further. So how do you offset that, right? A lot of comics don't know that they don't need managers to book their own tours.
That's sad, right?
That's 100% profit for you.
Yeah.
You
can just get on the phone and call the place. Like, look, hey, just call somebody. Just be like,
right. What you're doing is like, what you're gonna invest in the gas in the car, like you get that back.
Yeah.
You know, if you are, you're spending time building your audience, you're building your online presence and your platform. You have Instagram followers. You know, you're networking with colleges. Colleges, had so much money. So much money to be made in the collegiate. They need to spend it at the end of the fiscal year.
They do.
They have to. They need Black and brown people to come in. And so like I'm sharing all my secrets because I want people, when this shit starts to reopen, we need to do better, because we need to figure out like what colleges have what money. Like there's no Black or brown comedian that should be not working on February or September, October.
Yeah, of course, man. All of them.
You should be booked.
They all, especially with these college. Like literally, because I put when I was in college, dude. When I started my stand-up.
Shout out to Demi Jo, who's going off in this.
Demi Jo is my top fan. All right, Demi Jo is my #1 fan. As soon as I get T-shirts, she gets one for free.
Love you, Demi.
She gets whatever you want, Demi. All right, you never paying for a show when I have one.
Never.
She's been my day one. All right. Well, my mom. Since I got a mom, because my mom be watching this. She definitely she texting me now. But yeah, actually, you know what? This is a perfect time. Okay. Before we wrap it up, I open up to comments. Anything people saying. We see Demi Jo lighting it up. Right there. Exactly.
Oh my God, yay.
Yeah. Is anybody else saying anything, James? Anybody questions, anything like that?
Let me see. I can only see the Danny live stream because we're multicasting today, so
nice.
we got a bunch of pages up right now. But Matthew Bright popped in and showed some love today.
Hey, man, I love Matthew Bright.
Always, and then I think that's all we got on Danny Live, and I'm sure they're talking on the other page.
It was his. To speak on Matthew Bright, before I let you, before I give you your closeout, he was actually him and his wife were the ones that spurred me to like listen to more people and bring people on and stuff like that. Because like I said, and we need that. Like just like you said, we need.
Wasn't Ashley your first guest?
Ashley, yes, Ashley was my first guest.
Yeah.
Ashley Ray?
Nicole.
Yeah.
Nicole.
Ashley Nicole, photographer for Laugh Factory.
Oh, I got it.
Extremely talented.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
I mean, it just offers nuance. Like, we could be listening to podcasts that are just singular, but having the conversation allows for more, it just lets people connect with multiple sides of the issue, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that's what we should have. So, like I said, before we finish, all my guests, I give you a sign off, give you a last thing you want to say, something for people to take home, for you, and then we wrap it up and call this a night. So,
well, this has been an incredible conversation.
Do you feel cleansed?
I feel released. Actually,
come on, baby. I'm just 13 for 13. All right, yes.
I feel released in a way. I feel seen in another way, because I feel like a lot of times we're working in a silo and we're not. But this quarantine also makes me realize a lot of people are doing some of the same things.
Yes.
But if you wanted to see more of the things that I'm doing, Melissa Ray DuPrey, you can go to Facebook and follow 50 Blind Dates on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So far, I have 10 dates out.
Perfect. That's
season 1.
Oh, that's great.
Season 2
10
is in the
season-
works.
James, come on now.
Right.
Come on now.
Season 2 is in the works, which is the next 10 dates. I've had 35 dates. So if you still actually want to be on this other end of my Zoom, it's all races, all genders, because I'm queer.
Nice.
You can go to Facebook, fill out the Google form just to make sure you're not a MAGA hat wearer, and get on the other end of the Zoom. So I need 50 dates in total, but we absolutely want you to catch up on season 1, which is the first few dates. It's really fun to watch. My girlfriends and I go in, but we're looking for sponsorship as well. If you want to sponsor an episode, to take some of the financial burden off of Black and brown artists that are creating some really beautiful content and entertainment for you.
Thank you.
Check out 50 Blind Dates with Melissa DuPrey on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, if you are suffering in any way with getting access to mental wellness tools, practitioners, practices, go to the Good Grief Project, which is an interactive page that I created on Facebook that seeks to center POC wellness practitioners. We're talking about Reiki, acupuncture, therapy, yoga, meditation, life coaching. If you have never really known about any of those practices, you can find information about them there. I host weekly dialogues every Thursday therapy. I have an interview with a wellness practitioner. We talk about what that practice is, how to locate them, how to do teletherapy, and how to make sure it's accessible and local and POC led.
I like that.
So if you are, battling with depression, if you're really struggling with staying healthy in your body and you want to work with somebody, go to the Good Grief Project. You'll find resources there. It's a connecting site. Also, there's a support page connected there as a private dialogue group that is facilitated and moderated, so that way you never feel alone.
Oh yeah, I like that. And I'm trying to get swole too. I'm about to look up some of that fitness stuff right there. So, that's great, man. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you came and did this. Obviously, we're very grateful for all of our guests, and
I'm so glad to be connected with you. This is wonderful. Nothing is an accident.
Dude, yeah, nothing's an accident. Well, we found out before you came here that we were probably sitting next to each other at a protest on Friday
at Freedom Square, across the street from a torture center.
Yeah, just right there. Man, they just all the cops. I hate how much they make themselves look like boy bands.
So
dude.
goofy.
They be like.
So goofy. It cost like $4 million to guard that barbecue.
Oh my God. Yeah, a barbecue, bro.
It was a barbecue.
Them burgers.
I know. We don't play.
I snagged a couple. I did. I snagged a couple.
We don't play.
I'm sorry, Freedom.
We're trying to feed Lawndale.
Thank you. But yeah, like I said, this is always a great experience.
Thank you.
Man. And for everybody watching, like I said, man, if you have something that you're trying to get off your chest, you have something that you need to say, you need a free space to do so. You know what I mean? There are a lot of resources, like I said, that she has just given us, and I'm just glad that I could be here to listen to you and your experience, and hopefully I know it touched me. I hope it touched anybody at home watching and everything.
Consensually.
Good. Yeah, consensually. That's important. You know what I mean? Like I always say before we end, thank you guys for coming. Get some healing. We can't always be perfect, but we can be people, baby. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yes. Buena.
So,
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good night.